Hey everyone, welcome to this session, Saturday 1 hour yoga. So I'm so happy to be here with you guys today. I see that the feed is pretty active, which is so awesome. I always love to see that. So morning, Paul. I'm so glad that you're looking forward to class. -9 here today, so that's pretty cold. Is that with or without the wind chill? That's what I really want to know. And it's pretty sunny here in Toronto, which is kind of nice. So hopefully that means I can go for a nice walk today. Paul, so you did something on Thursday for your bucket list. You went snowmobiling. That sounds amazing. So that's super cool. Jessica, good morning. I'm so glad you're here and all good that if you've got it on the TV, no pressure to chat at all. I just love to know who's on the feed. Otherwise, it gets like a little lonely on my side, because I really feed off of your guys' energy, which is awesome. So I'm really glad that you made it out. And Cecilia, Sergey, I'm so glad you guys came. I wasn't sure if you guys are actually going to make it. So awesome that you guys are here. So welcome. First class for you guys. So this is awesome. So anyone else, as always, we're just going to wait a moment just to kind of let everyone come on. Super morning. I didn't think you were going to make it for yoga. So I think you're in for a treat for this one. So if you guys are following the poll that we did on YouTube, I asked you guys what you wanted to do this week. So it sounded like you guys wanted to kind of like chill out. I know Paul wanted to do some inversion practice, and then we still kind of wanted to flow a little bit, but maybe not like a crazy amount. So Paul, thanks so much. I'm glad you like the outfit. So what we're going to do for this class is the first 20 minutes is going to be like super nice and chill. We're going to breathe and we're going to do some Yin Yoga. So if you're not used to Yin or you've never practiced it before, what we're going to do is we're going to hold the pose. So traditionally in Yin, you'll hold the pose for somewhere between 2 to 6 minutes. We're not going to hold it for 6. We're going to do 3 today. And basically, we're just going to chill out. So I want you to really go grab your props if you can. If you don't have props, it's all good. I'm going to show you some home stuff. I'm actually going to use the home edition stuff for to show you guys. And then just grab what you can. So I would recommend grabbing like a pillow. Any kind of pillow will work. Even like something that you have on your couch is totally fine. Grab like some books if you've got some big ones. If you don't, again, it's fine. I'll walk you guys through that too. And then if you have like some kind of like a towel or like a light blanket, what we're gonna do is we're gonna roll it up like this and we're gonna put it under our back to just open up through the chest. You won't really need a strap today, I don't think, but feel free to always grab one. So I've got a scarf here instead of a strap. And then this is what the props look like if you have them: a bolster, 2 blocks, strap, blanket. All right, so that's what we're going to start with. So 20 minutes kind of doing some yin. We'll do some breath work and just slow it down. And then we're going to do sort of like a slow flow. So we'll do some stuff to get ready for our inversions and just flow it out to kind of warm up the body just a little bit. We're going to do some inversion practice. So I'm planning to do some shoulder stand and headstand, but don't fret. So like if inversions freak you out, that's fine. I'm going to show some modified versions that are super chill, super easy. So don't worry about it. The only thing is you might need a wall near you to help with that, but I'll give some variations and then we're going to cool it down. So that's kind of the plan for today. Jess, good morning. I'm just so glad that you stopped by. So thanks for stopping by, Jess. All good. Nice to see you too. And Paul, so -9 with the wind chill. Okay, so that's not too bad today. So that's good. Definitely some leg warmers for the walk. All right, so we're gonna get started. So the first pose that we're gonna get into, I'm just gonna walk you through it first, let you guys get into it, and then we'll get the music started and all that. So what I would recommend is, and you can do this without the blanket as well, but what we're gonna do is go into a supported fish pose. So what that is you can take this sort of like rolled up blanket, towel, whatever, behind you. And if you have your 2 blocks, we're going to come into a cobbler's pose or a butterfly pose. You can use the blocks underneath just to help lift the knees, but you don't need to. So you can also just hang out like this, and with the rolled up towel, you're just going to roll back and just open up here. Now, if you don't have a blanket or anything like that nearby, it's all good. I want you to just come down here and just sort of try to open up, lift through the chest here, and just hang out here, okay? So finding that, yeah, Adrian and Nico, definitely lots of variables, lots of variations for today. So we're gonna kind of chill out. So let's get the music started. So just hang out there. I'm gonna press play on the music now. All right, so just hanging out in your fish pose, chilling out. Take a deep breath in and let it go through the mouth. Exhale. Inhale. And let it go. Exhale. Just letting go your morning, letting go your week, and just finding that chill spot here in this pose. Breathing here. One more breath together. Inhale. And let it go. Exhale. We're going to take this time to really just connect to the breath here. Yin Yoga is all about connecting to the breath. It's all about kind of getting into that connective tissues. This is why we need to do it cold. You don't want to do it warm because you might go a little bit too far. And slowly, with time, you're just going to try to find more and more ease in the poses. So just breathe here. Notice if you're holding on to any tension here. See if you can breathe into that area. Also, just notice if your mind is starting to go active. Sometimes when we try to kind of slow everything down, it can be really easy to get lost in your thoughts. So if that's you right now, think about just using the mantra saying, as you inhale, just say inhale. And as you exhale, say exhale. Now you don't have to say that out loud. You can say that in your head, but just try to find that focus. It's okay if the thoughts come in your head. Just see what you can do to bring you back to the present moment. It's almost like a meditation. Just hanging out here. We're here for one more minute. So this last minute, see if you can find just a little bit more ease in this pose. Can you open up a little bit more through the chest? Can you open up a little bit more through the hips? Just breathe. Connecting to your breath here. And exhale. Slowly start wiggling out of this posture. Go nice and slow. We've been here for 3 minutes, so that might feel like a long time or maybe not enough, but just slowly coming out of that pose. We're gonna slowly make our way into a forward fold. So we're moving those blocks out of the way, just over to the side, and finding a nice forward fold here. Now, you may find that actually sitting on the block or the book might be helpful to just help straighten the back here and give you a little bit more leverage in your feet, or in your thighs, I mean. Otherwise, no block is totally fine too. Just do what you can, go as far as you feel comfortable. Just remember, we're here for 3 minutes, so don't push it. Sometimes with these poses, you can kind of go a little bit too far, too early, and it's no good. So you can hang out here. You can also grab some props to kind of help set you up. So you can grab a block here and kind of use this to put your forehead under. Otherwise, what you're gonna do is 2 options. You're either gonna hang out here, straight back, hands can just come beside you, or you can start folding yourself forward. See if you can flex the toes here, flex the feet. This will just help protect your knees. Breathe here. What you'll find is over time, as you kind of just hang out here, you're gonna find you're gonna go deeper and deeper into the stretch. So it's okay to scale it back in the beginning and then kind of go deeper as we get into the sequence a little bit more. So just breathe here. Adrian, Nico, cobbler's pose is what you need. Yeah, I love cobbler's pose too. It really does help open up the hips, especially when you're doing all the burpees and the explosive movements. That kind of stuff just is so good. Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate you guys coming here, and I'm really glad that you guys enjoy coming here before your workout to get your blood flowing, letting go of the week. Yeah. So also, just so you guys, I'll do a little shout out for my guys Adrian and Nico. They're going to be doing an awesome workout after this. So they normally start around 10:45 Eastern Standard Time. So if you guys are looking to get a really awesome workout in, think about maybe going to their channel after. Those guys are so amazing. They'll get your blood pumping for sure. And they are just so motivational. So regardless of what level you're at, you'll definitely find something with them too. So just breathing here again, just thinking about that week, just letting it all go, trying to melt here into the pose. We're here just a little bit longer. See if you can let go of your lower back here. Maybe let go of your hamstrings. Finding a little bit more space. Maybe walking those hands out, maybe an inch, maybe a millimeter more. Breathing here. Slowly walking those hands back, coming back to center, doing any little bits of movement. We're gonna go into sphinx pose from here. So what we're gonna do is come all the way onto our bellies. Feel free to do around a cat and cows if you feel like that feels good for you. Otherwise, just coming right away into your sphinx pose. So sphinx pose is basically like a mini cobra. So we're gonna have our elbows nice and tight to the body. I like to have my hands nice and wide, but you don't need to. And just opening up here through the chest and a little bit of a back bend here. If this feels good, you can even come up with straight arms, but I might wait maybe a minute or so before kind of doing that, just to sort of warm up the spine here. So we're just gonna hang out right here. Try not to dig into the lower back. And just breathe here. Taking this time to slow everything down. And just breathe. Connecting to that breath. Just notice again if your thoughts are starting to come in. Maybe you're already thinking about what you're doing after this. Maybe you're already thinking about the inversions we're going to be doing later. And try to just connect back to the breath. Remember that mantra. Inhale and letting it go, exhale. See if you can stay present here. That's one of the amazing things I find about Yin is just being able to be present in these poses. You know, at first they might feel pretty easy, but you know, as you kind of get into that, third minute, you start feeling it. So notice where your mind's going. Breathing here. Last little bit here in Sphinx. So maybe coming to those straight arms if that feels good. Just noticing what that feels like. And don't push yourself here, right? Yin's finding that nice sort of, you're trying to find that line where it's challenging but not too challenging. And when you're ready, let's slowly come out of it, coming to tabletop. Maybe just come to a quick child's pose to just release the back here. And when you're ready, we're gonna come into a lizard's pose on the left side. So lizard's pose, we're gonna bring the foot over to the outside, to the sort of side of the mat here, maybe bringing that knee back, and then either hanging out here with your hands on the ground, maybe you're grabbing your blocks and coming to your elbows. Maybe you are just coming straight onto your elbows. You can lift the foot here, let the knee come out to the side. So you find your variation of lizard's pose. Lizard's pose is probably one of the most intense postures in Yin. So if you're feeling this, it is very normal to feel like that. So what I want you to try to do is breathe into that tension. And remember to come out, right? So you don't need to go to your max here. You know, just go where is somewhat comfortable. And just breathe into it. If you need to come out early, feel free to do so. But see if you can hang on. Just breathing here. Again, notice where your mind is at. See if you can stay with the pose, stay present. Hanging out here. We're almost done here. So if you're starting to get to that limit, maybe taking it back a little bit. One thing that we try to do in Yin is to not move in the posture, even though it can be really hard to do that. So just let the body do what the body's doing. Let gravity take pull. Let gravity help you get deeper into these poses. And you just do that with time. So what the pose started off like and what the pose looks like by the end of that 3 minutes might look a little different. You may feel more calm, you may feel more open. Breathe here. Last couple seconds here. Slowly bringing those hands to the mat and coming out of this pose, maybe bringing that foot back, maybe just shaking the hips here, maybe just sort of moving the legs around. So find anything that feels okay. And when you're ready, let's go over to the other side. Now notice here where you're at, it may look a little bit different on one side versus the other. So you figure out what works for you here. Again, you can always bring blocks into this. You can always change the intensity by just coming down onto your elbows. And again, option to bring the knee all the way out to the side and the foot up. And if none of those are happening and you're just kind of hanging out here, there's nothing wrong with that, right? So this is still a very effective posture, so don't feel like you need to go super deep. Hey Erin, I'm so glad that you're here. Crazy that it's the weekend already. And so far, good weekend. Coach Kev, awesome. So glad you're hanging out here. Thanks for coming and stopping by. So again, just hanging out here, slowing it down in this posture. We've got one more in our Yin series after this one, and then we're gonna start moving the body and start flowing it out. So if you're starting to hit your point where you're just like, man, I need to move, don't worry, we're getting there. So just breathe here. Trying to enjoy this stretch as best you can. Again, you may find that this side might be way more intense than the other side, which is totally fine. Just breathe. See if you can find that space, and you can always come back to a less intense part. So maybe bringing the hands back onto the mat, maybe just taking it back, maybe even coming out of the pose for a couple breaths, maybe meeting back, maybe not, right? So you make this about you. You know what's working for your body and what's not, so trust yourself. Last little bit here. Just breathe. See if you can deepen the breath a little bit. Go into those belly breaths. Use the breath to find that calmness. All right, slowly coming out of this side, bringing that foot back. Again, just kind of going side to side with the hips, doing any bits of movement in case you need to shake those legs out. The last posture we're going to do here is a supported child's pose. So if you've got that pillow nearby or that bolster, even the blanket will do fine. What I want you to do is separate the legs as far as you can, width of the mat. This will help to really get into the hips. You're going to bring that whatever you have here and then just slowly come down. Now, if you don't have any props, you can do a regular child's pose too. No problem. Forehead's coming down. You may even prefer to do without it being supported, so you pick which variation works for you. Bring those elbows down. I want this to feel like a nice, juicy child's pose. So another option too is if this is not feeling good, you can take that blanket and you can bring it behind your knees and sit back like this. This might create a little bit more space for you as well. So you just find what feels good for you in this posture and try to sink into your hips here. See if you can find that pose and just settle here for a few minutes. Our last posture in this Yin series. Then we're going to do some sun salutations, warm up the body. Just hanging out here, catch your breath. Notice where you're at. Notice if your mind has drifted. See if you can bring it back. Enjoying this last bit of kind of calmness before we pick up the pace in the class. See if you can find just a little bit more space here. All right, slowly coming out of your child's pose, moving away all those props. Let's come into tabletop. Just shake everything out. Sometimes when you hold those poses for a few minutes, normally we only hold them for, like 20, 30 seconds. It's a big difference, right? So just notice where you're at, shake everything out, and let's come into a round of cat and cow. So we're gonna start going into cow, just looking up, bringing that belly down, inhale, and exhale, curving the spine, coming in a cat, really pressing those hands into the mat, belly's nice and tucked. Inhale, coming up, cow. Feel free to go at your own pace here, at your own breath. Just opening everything up here. Maybe even doing some sort of like body, some side rolls if that feels good. So just shake everything out, move in whatever direction feels good, maybe even stretching out the wrists, bringing the hands towards you and sort of coming back here on the hands. So any little bits of movement, and when you're ready, let's meet in downward dog. So downward dog. So downward dog is a fun posture, especially if you're a beginner. This can be one of the hardest postures actually. So if you're new to yoga, maybe deep bend in the knees here. Just try and get those hips nice and high and pressing your hands into the mat. Try to broaden through the shoulders here. And slowly, you can see if it works for you to slowly start straightening those legs. It's totally fine to keep your knees bent always in downward dog. So you just need to figure out what works for you. The most important is keeping those hips high. So when you're ready, let's go in our first round of sun salutations. You can walk, step, or hop all the way to the top of the mat. Inhale, arms all the way up. Maybe a little back bend here. And exhale, folding over the legs. Grabbing the elbows, taking it nice and slow here. Just swaying back and forth here. Can even have a nice deep bend in the knees here. Really release that lower back. Just breathe. Can find stillness. Can even grab the toes here to bring the upper body a little bit closer to the shins. So you find your variation. Hands to the shins, look up, inhale. And when you're ready, stepping or hopping all the way back, coming into chaturanga. So if you're new, maybe bringing the knees all the way down and keeping those elbows nice and tight to the body. Chaturanga. Inhale, bringing that chest forward, coming into cobra, straight arms, or upward dog, lifting those thighs. You pick your variation. And over the toes, downward dog. Maybe pedaling out your dog here, seeing what that feels like. Maybe bringing the knees from one side to the other. Or maybe choosing stillness here in your downward dog. Let's hang out here for 3 breaths. Again, option to keep those knees nice and bent. Breathe here. One more breath. All right, we're gonna do that one more time. Slowly walking or hopping, top of the mat, you pick. Inhale, arms all the way up. Look up, little back bend. And coming over into your fold. So you pick your fold, you can grab your elbows. Maybe your hands are coming behind you this time. Maybe you're grabbing your toes. Maybe you're bringing the hands underneath. You pick. This practice is about you. You have choices. So you pick what's gonna work for your body, what you're craving right now. Hanging out here. Hands to shins, look up. And exhale, coming down, chaturanga. So you pick. Inhale to cobra or upward dog. And over the toes, downward dog. Pedaling the feet out here. We're gonna go into sun salutation 2B. So walking, stepping, hopping all the way top of the mat. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, palms to center, coming into mountain pose. So we're gonna hang out here, just breathing here. Enjoying the mountain pose before we go into our second sun salutation. Notice what it feels like to stand here. Really trying to center the feet into the mat, so feel the activation in your legs. Even though we're just standing here, everything should be active. Arms should be nice and active, opening up here through the chest. And let's go into chair pose. So I like to sweep my hands to get nice and low, bring your hips low. Palms are coming up right beside the ears, nice and active. See if you can tuck that tailbone here, tucking the belly in. Breathe here. This is a hard pose to hold, so just holding here, one more breath. And exhale, folding over the legs. Inhale, flat back, look up. And exhale, stepping all the way back, flowing it out. Chaturanga. Inhale to upward dog. Over the toes, downward dog. Right leg lifts. Bending the knee, looking under the arm, feeling that twist. And when you're ready, stepping that foot between the palms, coming into warrior one or high lunge. Warrior one, you're gonna have your foot is gonna be at a 45 degree. You may need to move that foot somewhere around because you want to have your hips pointing forward. So holding here, knees bent, arms up, and opening up here through the chest. Maybe clasping the hands together if you can. Pressing into both legs, or you can come into high lunge if that feels better for you. So you pick. Hands are coming to the ground. Kicking that leg back. Maybe a three-legged chaturanga, or maybe not. Maybe the knees are coming down. So you pick chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Over the toes, downward dog. Breathe here, catch your breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Left leg lifts, knee coming nice and high, looking underneath that left arm, feeling that twist. And bringing that foot between the hands, coming into warrior one on this side, or lunge, you pick. Namaste, Henrique. So breathing here, holding here, opening up through the chest, finding your pose, and hands come down. Same thing, maybe a three-legged chaturanga, maybe you're dropping your knees. You pick. Over the toes, downward dog. Let's hang out here in downward dog. Maybe taking a child's pose if you need to, dropping to your knees, forehead's coming to the mat. So you pick. Otherwise, holding here in your downward dog. Breathe here. All right, we're gonna do another sun salutation like that. So when you're ready, if you're in child's pose, come meet back in your downward dog. And wherever you are, stepping or hopping, walking all the way to the top of the mat, inhale, arms up. A little back bend here. And bringing those hands down, mountain pose. So just breathing here, hanging out here, enjoying your mountain. When you're ready, let's go into our chair pose. So dragging the hands here, looking up, tucking the tailbone, hanging out here, a couple breaths. See if you can do your belly breathing here or do your ujjayi breathing here. Folding over the legs. Inhale, look up. And exhale, stepping all the way back, maybe dropping the knees. Chaturanga. Inhale to upward dog. over the toes, downward dog. Again, right leg lifts, twist, look under the arm, breathe here. And stepping between the palms, warrior one or high lunge. Breathing here. Palms to the mat, let's flow it out. You pick your flow. Inhale to upward dog. Over the toes, downward dog. Hanging out here, catch your breath. Maybe coming to child's pose if you need to. Pushing those hands into the mat, opening up here through the chest, through the shoulders. Notice if your shoulders have come up to your ears. See if you can press them down. All right, we got another side to do. If you're in child's pose, come meet back in downward dog. Left leg lifts, knee comes up. Feel that twist, looking under the left arm. Stepping that foot, top of the mat, warrior one, or high lunge on this side. Breathe here. Opening up here through the chest if you can. Breathe here. Hands coming down, let's flow it out. Your flow, you pick. Inhale to upward dog. Over the toes, downward dog. Breathe here. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. All right. So from here, we're actually going to go into dolphin pose. So coming into your plank, belly's tight, drop the hips, coming onto your elbows. All right, from here, walking in those feet, getting those hips to start stacking over the shoulders, and maybe you're holding here. So this can be really tough to hold as it is. If that's too much, maybe you're just gonna come onto your knees instead, opening up here through the chest instead. Or you can just come back into a regular plank, okay? So otherwise, stacking those hips as much as you can over the shoulders. And if you want to take it one step further, going into dolphin presses. So bringing the head over the hands and back. We're gonna do that 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Coming onto the knees, child's pose. Head's coming down, breathe. Getting ready for our inversions here. Starting to activate the shoulders, activate the core. So just breathe. Calm the breath down. We're gonna do those dolphins one more time. So when you're ready, coming back up, let's find our way into dolphin. So here, coming up to the forearms here, maybe holding your plank here, your dolphin plank, your forearm plank, or bringing those feet in, stacking the hips over the shoulders, which is a lot of work, or maybe coming into those dolphin presses. So you decide. 1, 2, and do 5, 3, 4, and 5. All right, coming back down, child's pose, letting it go. We're gonna come into boat pose, and then we're gonna go into the inversion part of our practice. So just breathe. All right, so coming onto our butts. All right, so we're gonna do boat pose. So depending on where you're at, depending on where your core is and all of that, I'm gonna guide you through a couple different modifications. Also, it depends on your energy. Maybe you can do it, but you know what, maybe you don't want to, and that's okay, it's your choice. So what we're gonna do for boat is a couple variations. Option one, you're gonna do always nice straight back. You want a nice tall spine, taking the hands underneath the knees here, and just sort of get the heels off the ground. Toes are just hanging out here. This is option one. So hanging out here, opening up here through the chest. Option two is you're going to lift your feet off the ground. Hands can come behind to give you a little bit of support. You can also have the hands here beside you. You pick, but you're kind of on your sacrum, balancing. Option three, coming here, hands beside, fully using your core here. Option three, extend the legs, point the toes, and hold. Holding here for 5. 1, 2, core is tight. 3, see if you can smile. If you fall out of it, just let it go. 3, 4, and 5. Crossing the legs here. See if you can just pick your butt up and drop it on the ground. Hands to the side, feet to the mat, and just windshield wiper the feet out a little bit. We're gonna do that one more time. Okay, y'all ready? Okay, so we're gonna do that one more time. You pick your modification. Feel free to go back a modification, go forward a modification, do the same one you pick. So when you're ready, let's go. So again, nice flat back. You pick your variation. We're here for 5. Holding here, core's tight. Breathe, inhale, and let it go, exhale. See if you can smile. It's 2, 3, it's 4, and that's 5. Coming down again, windshield wiper the feet. All right. Okay, so we're gonna try some inversions. So I'm gonna walk you guys through tripod first, then we'll do supported headstand, and then we'll do some shoulder stand. So we're not gonna spend a ton of time on any of them, but we'll do a little bit so you guys can have some fun. Now, inversions I get are really freaking scary. If you've never done them before, honestly, they look super cool, but they're really hard to get started with just because there's a lot of fear. If you feel like you're not ready and you're not really feeling the trying part, it's totally fine. So what I want you to do instead is grab one of your books, just have it beside you if you've got it. And what I want you to do is while we practice tripod, I want you to just bring your hands and feet up just like this and just hang out here. What you may want to do is grab that book, place it under your sacrum, and lift the feet up. You can even bring the hands down if you want something super supported. It just feels nice to have the legs raised like that, so feel free to hang out with that. All right, if you're with me and you're a little crazy and you want to just try something, what we're going to do is we're going to start with a teddy bear tripod. What you may want to do as well is you can take your scarf and you can tie it. And you're going to actually use this to help you be a little bit more supported. So what we're gonna do is wrap this around the upper arms. This is just gonna keep those elbows tight. So what we're gonna do is bring the hands nice and wide here, bring those hips forward, and you're going to bring the top of the head to the mat. Hugging in those elbows, so have them nice and tight towards the body. And depending on how far you wanna go today, maybe just lifting the butt up and inching the feet away from you. Closer to you. So what you're trying to do is stack those hips over the shoulders. This is where it's gonna start to make your legs feel weightless. Maybe you're gonna start lifting one toe, maybe the other, maybe you're just hanging out, or maybe you're gonna try and lift. Now, lifting your feet up like that also takes a lot of core work. So depending on where you're at, I'm gonna offer another option as well. So again, starting here, elbows are tight, walking in those feet, maybe bringing one knee to the elbow, maybe the other, coming into teddy bear, or maybe lifting all the way up. So you can straighten the legs if you want to and go that route. So I'm gonna let you guys kind of play with it here, and you guys just hang out for a little bit. So we'll count to 5. Hey Jay Caesar, welcome. So I find inversions are super fun to play with. You can do a lot of fun stuff, especially with tripod, going into different transitions and things like that. So you pick your variation, you pick where you're at. Breathe here. And when you're ready to stop practicing, just come into a child's pose, let everything reset. All right, coming back up. All right, let's talk about supported headstand. So if you were doing my dead bug, because you're just like, yo, you guys are crazy, I don't want to do inversions, totally fine. So what I want you to do for the second round is I want you to bring the butt up really nice and close to the wall. I'm gonna use my window here because that's all I got, my poor neighbors, I know. And you're gonna bring the legs up on the wall. Now for the first round, I want you to keep the legs up and straight. And then when we start going into shoulder stand, I want you to take the legs nice and wide. Okay, so really starting to slow everything down here, really just enjoying what this feels like and enjoying the practice of being inverted. Okay, so slow down the breath, see if you can connect to the breath, and remember that mantra of inhale and exhale. All right, if you're with me and you want to keep practicing these inversions, we're going to start doing supported. Okay, so supported headstand is my preferred headstand just because it's supported, so I feel a lot more stable in it. But it does take a little bit to kind of get to learn, get to know. So where you're gonna start is you're going to bring your elbows down and you're gonna touch your elbows here. From here, your hands are gonna come out. And what you're gonna do is place the head onto the mat. Now with headstand, there should not be a lot of weight in your head. So if there is, it means that you're not doing something correctly, and get out of it because you're gonna hurt yourself. So most of the weight is actually gonna be in your arms and supporting that, and your core. So this is where it becomes really important to distribute the weight. Don't kick up because you will hurt yourself. But feel free to go up against a wall to practice this stuff. I know that's how I learned. A lot of teachers will say not to do that. But honestly, I don't want to hurt myself. So I want to, feel like I've got a crutch there. So if you guys feel like you want to use a wall, go for it. Okay, so let's try this. So we've got our hands. We've checked to make sure that we've got this nice and distributed. We're going to open up here through the shoulders and through the chest. So we've got a nice foundation here. Next, we're going to bring our head down onto the mat. And same like we did before, we're going to lift the hips and walk the feet in. So same as before, maybe you're lifting one, maybe you're lifting both. I like to come into egg when I'm learning this because, well, it's a little bit closer to the body. You're not distributing the weight so much, so it's a lot easier to hold. And if you've got that, maybe you're lifting the legs all the way straight, breathing here. Headstand can be very meditative once you've learned it. So if you're already versed in it, maybe you're already hanging out here. Maybe you're trying something different, like like, I don't know, like an electric bolt. And then going to the other side. So you find what feels good for you. Try to play or not. If you are versed in headstand, then I do want you to pike on the way down and slowly come down. So either continuing to play with the headstand, or feel free to come into child's pose. So child's pose is gonna reset the body again, reset everything. So just see how you feel. The other thing to note is every day is different, right? So like some days, man, my headstand feels so strong, and some days, like actually now, not so strong. So you're like wobbling and stuff like that, and that's just so normal. Your body changes day to day, depending on so many different factors, so just enjoy. All right, so everybody coming into child's pose, and we're gonna go into a quick shoulder stand series, and then we're gonna close everything down. So if you've got your legs up on the wall, bring them out to wide. That'll help you to just get a little bit of a different sensation and just kind of wind everything down. And if you're with me, let's come onto our backs. Let's go into shoulder stand. So coming down into shoulder stand, what we're gonna do is bring the arms. I like to come into pike first to go into my shoulder stand. It makes me feel a little bit more secure. Tucking those elbows under and then bringing your feet up. You pick your variation to get in. Just don't move the head around once you're there. Hanging out here. Weights on the shoulders, core's active, and see if you can press those feet and those legs back. It's very normal that we kind of go a little bit more forward, but really we want everything stacked over top of the shoulders so you really feel the core working. Breathe here. And when you're ready, let's come into pike. Actually, before we go into pike, let's start doing our bicycle. So just moving the feet, moving the legs in a bicycle motion, noticing what this feels like. And when you're ready, feet come up, come into pike. So bringing the feet all the way over the head. Nice straight spine here. And tucking those shoulders under. See if you can clasp your hands underneath. If you can't, that's fine. Just bring them beside each other where it's comfortable. Hanging out here. See if you can flex the feet here to stack the hips over the shoulders a little bit more. Remember, try to just listen to me. Don't look at the screen because you can really hurt yourself here. So just breathe. From here, quickly, we'll take an ear pressure pose. So bending those knees and trying to hug the head in. See if you can press your ears to hold the senses here. And when you're ready, hands coming down and slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, bringing the spine down. We're gonna go into a fish pose just to offset shoulder stand. So today for the fish pose, we're gonna keep the legs straight. Come onto the crown of the head and arms come up. If that's not feeling good, you can also just cross the legs here, but you want this space in the back. So you pick. you're ready, bring the crown of the head down, and let's start winding it down. So if you're on the wall, come meet me back on the mat here. Now we're just gonna hug in the legs. So just breathe here. Slowing everything down, noticing what it felt like to do some of the inversion practice. It's really important to meet yourself where you are so you're not pushing too far. So wherever you got to, just let it go and breathe. Enjoy this time to cool everything down. Now let's hug in the right knee, letting that left leg down straight. Hugging it in here. We're gonna go into a twist. But before that, just taking a second here, hugging that knee in. See if you can get that knee a little bit closer to the shoulder. Just breathe here. From here, we're gonna take the left palm over, right palm's coming out to the side, and we're gonna go into a twist. So see if you can get that right shoulder back on the ground. If you can't, that's totally fine. Feeling that twist, option to grab that blanket or the block that you have and just tucking it under the shoulder to help you get a little bit deeper here into that twist. So you pick. Just breathe here. Breathing into that twist. Noticing where you feel this. Coming back to center, hugging in both knees one more time, feeling what that feels like. And I said one more time, we'll probably do it one more time after that too. But just hugging them in here. Okay, now hugging in that left knee, right leg's coming out. Again, staying here for a couple of breaths. See if you can get that knee all the way to the shoulder. Breathe here. And when you're ready, let's come into the twist on the other side. Left palm's coming all the way over and bringing that right knee over. Maybe needing to move the hips somewhere, maybe moving them a little bit more to the right, maybe moving them wherever you need to feel that twist. And bringing both shoulder blades onto the ground if you can. Again, always an option to get that blanket. So you find something that works for you here. Just breathe. Enjoy this twist. Notice where you feel it. And notice if one side maybe is a little bit tighter or you experience it different. Nothing to worry about, just something to observe. When you're ready, coming back to center, let's hug in those knees this time, one more time. Getting ready for our shavasana. All right, when you're ready, let's squeeze everything in. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And coming into shavasana. So lots of options here. So if you want, maybe taking the pose that we started with, so you can bring that rolled up towel or that blanket, and just using this to open up through the chest. So we'll just roll this up and have that on your spine. And then you can grab your books or whatever you've got and just use those for cobbler's pose. So a nice supported fish pose here, that's an option. Or feel free to just take regular shavasana or take out the blanket and just have the hips open here. So you find a pose that feels good for you today. Hey FitStem, I'm so glad you joined. So just breathe here, calming down the breath. Let's take 2 breaths together to just let go of whatever happened in practice. Inhale. Just let it go. Inhale. And let it go. Continuing on at your own pace. If you have the hands towards the sides, you can have them on your belly if you need to feel a little bit more grounded. You can also have your palms facing the ground to feel a little bit more grounded. Or if you want to attract more energy, some positive vibes, maybe open up here through the palms. Just taking this time for you. And I'm going to read the quote of the week. What I'm looking for is not out there. It is in me. That's by Helen Keller. You have everything you need to be who you want to be. It may not feel like the right time. You might feel like you need this thing or that thing to be able to do it. It may even feel like the world is caving in around you. But you're strong. You're capable. And you're amazing. Be that fire that you need. Be the person that you need right now. Be that person that you aspire to be. Don't underestimate the power that you hold inside of you. Thinking about that quote, whether it was something that resonated with you, and if it wasn't, that's fine. Just let it go. Taking these last few moments for yourself here, creating that space. And when you're ready, slowly stretch everything out. If you're in cobbler's pose, maybe just wiggling those fingers, wiggling those toes. Taking a nice body stretch, stretching from your hands to your feet. And rolling over to any side, one side. Whichever one feels like the right side today. Just resting here with your head on your arm like a pillow. And meeting in seated whenever you're ready. Any seated position is totally fine. You can even stay laying down if you'd rather. We're going to do 3 breaths together just to close out the practice. When you're ready, we're going to inhale. And let it go. Inhale. and let it go. One more. Inhale. Let it go. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thanks so much for creating some space and some time for yourself. Let go of anything that didn't serve you in the practice today. Let go of any expectations you may have had for yourself. And I hope you have the most amazing day still. Namaste. All right, so that's it. So we're done our weekly class. So a little bit different than what we normally do, especially starting that class with Yin. We did a lot less sort of standing and flowing postures than what we normally do. And we practiced inversions, which honestly is something I don't think I've ever really done a whole lot of in these live streams. So you tell me, let me know what you guys thought about this class. It was a little bit, I don't know, a little bit less traditional, I guess, a little bit all over the place, but also lots of variety. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm gonna hang around in the comments for any feedback or anything like that. Thanks, Dave. I'm glad you liked the class. So we'll hang around for a couple minutes so you guys give us feedback. If you guys enjoyed the class, make sure to like it. It definitely helps us with the algorithm. Subscribe if you haven't. We do this every week, so every Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're new here, I do try to make it for all levels. So if you are a beginner, you know, it's always good for me to know that because it helps to make sure I'm adding in extra cues and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm so excited that you guys joined us, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. I hope it's sunny where you are. It looks like the sun's starting to really poke out where we are, so I'm pretty excited for that. Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed some of that Yin stuff. Yin is very interesting. You either kind of love it or hate it. It can be very strange to hold poses for that long. We only held it for 3 minutes. It's very common to hold it for 6 or even 8 minutes. So, you know, it really kind of tests that mental aptitude you have for creating that kind of space. We don't often create that kind of space for us in our lives, so it's kind of interesting. You can really find that your mind goes wild. So I'm really curious to see what you guys thought about Yin, whether you guys think that we should do more of something like that, or if we should do it separately so that it's not impacting our flow time. And yeah. Dave wanted to say hi too, I think. Awesome, Jessica. I'm glad you're feeling great. Jessica, what did you think about the Yin? Did you like it, or is it like, yeah, what did you think about it? And also, did you actually try the inversions, or did you go for the modified inversions? And I should also, I know Aaron from FitLab was, and Dave were kind of talking about it earlier. So March 5th at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is a little bit late, but you know what? We really wanted Adrian and Nico there, so we decided to go ahead because that was a time that worked for them. They're over on the West Coast in BC. So we are going to be doing a live stream with some of my favorite YouTubers. So we've got Aaron from FitLab, we've got Adrian and Nico, which, by the way, go check out their channel if you guys want a good workout. Those guys are phenomenal. What was I going to do? Who else was I going to say? Victoria's Sequence, who's another, she's amazing. She's got an amazing channel as well. And I've got Daniela Joy, who is a massive inspiration to me every day. She's on a weight loss journey, and man, that girl is just like, she's such a fighter. Like she'll never give up, and it's very inspiring to see that. So I got all those amazing YouTubers together on Move with Jenn, March 5th, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be doing a live stream with all of us, and we're going to be talking about how you can get started with your fitness journey. So if that's something that you're working on, something that you're curious about, then honestly, like come check it out, because it's going to be a load of fun. It's going to be awesome. There's like a lot of really good experienced people there, so I think it's just going to be an amazing conversation. So there'll be more details coming over around that in the coming weeks. And Jessica, don't worry. Honestly, it took me 5 years to even start like really practicing headstand. And it took me, well, yeah, it took me 5 years to actually get into my first headstand. So it takes time. So you do you. Whenever is the right time for you, you'll know. Daniel, I'm glad you love the yin. Jessica, I'm glad you loved the yin and you were sweating during this and you haven't really sweat before. So that's really good. That's really good. So it's funny because I find the yin yoga, you're not really going to sweat as much because it's a little calmer. But then once you start flowing and you really flow a bit more, and especially with those like dolphin presses and boat and stuff like that, like you're working out your core and your shoulders and everything. So I was actually sweating too. And you did the shoulder one, which is awesome with the pike. That's awesome. Shoulder stand is a really great one to get started with, to sort of just get comfortable being upside down. I find the fear of being upside down is probably the thing that scares you the most, or scared me the most. And what else was I going to say? So not only the fear of that, but then the fear of falling is next. So once you kind of get comfortable just being upside down and feeling what that feels like, then the next thing is about figuring out how to fall, or how to feel comfortable if you do fall, or just not falling. So but awesome. Yeah, one day you'll get it for sure. And awesome. Jessica, I'm really glad you joined. So it's been pretty awesome to sort of like experience your journey with yoga and everything. So keep me posted, because honestly, this is what I live for. Seeing just all these things really motivates me. So thanks for kind of sharing your journey with me too. Because it really, I can't tell you how much it does for me too. All right, so we'll probably close it out here. If anyone's got any other questions or anything like that, feel free to throw them in the chat. Otherwise, we'll close it off. So tomorrow we're going to be running Get Fit with HIIT at 10 a.m. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue doing the Get Fit with HIIT for the rest of February. And then for March, we're just going to be doing the yoga live streams every week. So we haven't quite figured out how often we'll do the Get Fit for HIIT. We might post like a video monthly or something like that. So I'll probably do a poll on that and see what you guys want, and then kind of go from there. And yeah, you did record, so I'm hoping to get some of it up. Awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, I would love to kind of see how it's going, and I'm glad that you're recording yourself. Honestly, it's kind of like crazy when you record yourself, because it really opens your eyes to like your alignment and stuff like that, especially if you're practicing at home, because like that's one of the benefits of when you're practicing in the studio, is like the teacher can kind of come around and help sort of you with alignment, whereas when you're at home, it's all about just kind of hanging out and making sure, like listening to your body and making sure that you're feeling good, which honestly both are totally fine, as long as you're not getting injured. That's really the main thing. Daniel, you're hungry? Man, I'm hungry too. I haven't eaten yet today, so I'm really excited to eat. So we'll probably end it out here. Make sure you guys go check out Adrian and Nico. They're going to be running their session now, so I'm going to be headed over there. And otherwise, I will see you guys either next week, or I'll see you guys tomorrow if you guys are coming to Get Fit with HIIT. So have an amazing Saturday, everyone. I hope you guys get some time outside, and I'll see you next time. We do have donuts. Okay. Bye, everyone. Thanks for coming. Yeah, let's all go eat. Awesome. Okay. Bye, Jessica.